Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today, my guest is an artist out of the PMW. He's been featured on Vice. He has a music video through Noisy. I recently discovered him a couple of weeks ago, or I guess months ago now. We've been talking for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I'm definitely a fan. They're very musical, and they're very gifted, in my opinion. I love their name. Their vibe has to do around oranges, so we're going to learn about that. What it's like being a PNW artist who's getting some cool recognition and attention. They just released a new single called Fuchsia a few days ago, so make sure to check that out. It's my pleasure to introduce Oranj Goodman.
What's up, yo?
Hell yeah! So let's just start there. What's with the orange vibe?
Okay, so that's like the first thing I think people ask.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's up with that?" Like since I was little, that's like been my favorite color. It's been like the color like when people ask what's your favorite color, it's usually like red or blue or green. And if you're like orange or yellow or whatever your favorite color is, people are like, "You're weird."
What? I think I love.
But I mean,
orange.
like when you're like in my generation, like when I was growing up, I feel like people were always like, "Oh, like that's a weird color to like," because I didn't fit in like the like norm of what kids usually. It's usually from adults. Like people were like, "Oh, that's a weird color for a kid to like," you know.
Fair enough.
So like, I like tried a bunch of different names before I was Oranj Goodman, and I think that color just has always made me feel like myself.
Hell yeah.
So why not like have it be my name?
So you're like a happy camper.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
And like the J, I feel like the name looked too long, and like so I was like took down the GE to turn it into a J, and my last name's Goodman, so
hell yeah.
it's like a play on my name too.
You know who you have to meet? You have to meet Orange. Was it Orange James? Wait, Orange Jones? What's
Orange Julius?
Is it OJ? What's that guy's name? The Rain guy. I think it's Orange Jones.
Orange Jones.
It's like he's this guy from like the 80s. You don't know that guy? I think it's Orange Jones or something like that. Fuck. Do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just look up Orange Jones, and then we'll throw it up afterwards. But I'm going to talk. The camera's going to be on me. Orange Jones. I'm pretty sure it's Orange Jones. He's like an 80s rapper, and he's like a one-hit wonder with a song called "In the Rain."
Orange Juice Jones.
Orange Juice Jones. There we go. Do you know Orange Juice Jones at all?
No, I don't.
I'm dead. You're gonna have to, after the show, you're gonna have to check out that. That'd be so funny if you like flipped a song by him and then had him. You know what's super cool? Because we're both on the younger side, and what I like to see is when like younger artists like flip like an older song, and then they hop on the older artist hops on the remix or something.
Yeah, like they get like you bring them out of their retirement. You're like, hey, like. Hop on this song. It is.
Like, do you know who Armani White is?
Yeah.
So you know his song like Billie Eilish? It's like his biggest song right now.
Yeah.
He just dropped a remix with Macklemore, which is fucking wild.
Damn.
But Billie Eilish is a remixed beat from Noriega, I'm pretty sure. And so Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, and Noriega hopped on the remix on the album.
That's
so
fire.
like shit like that's
Luda's
cool.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
I just seen his interview of him recently. He like goes through all his like classics.
Hell yeah.
Like how he made them and shit. It's fire.
Have you seen the Llama Llama Red Pajama freestyle he's done?
Yes. Bro, he's probably like I'd give him the best hip hop performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to a lot of rap shows.
Yeah.
And his shit is crazy every time. I've seen him twice. And he like has the same hype man. Like the props are crazy every time. Like he's a dope ass performer too.
I want to see Lil Wayne or Tyler. I didn't see Tyler the Creator.
No, I take it back. Lil Wayne's probably the best.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Ludacris is like him and Wayne are tied, but like Wayne's whole presence, like how long he goes, like what he says, like his outfits and stuff. Like Lil Wayne's probably like my number one.
Yeah,
he's my goat.
He's definitely mine too.
And he says the same thing before he performs. He says, "For those who don't know me, I go by the name of Lil Wayne." And I'm like, who doesn't know you, bro? Like, you're the GOAT.
He did Bumper Shoot, I think, like
that's when
3 or 4 years ago.
That was the first time I seen him, yeah.
I wish I had gone to that. I don't know what happened when I didn't. That's fucking... So...
He did main stage, too.
I bet, of course. He had to, like, probably end the night, right?
No, it was, like, in the afternoon.
What?
SZA was headlining.
Lil Wayne didn't headline?
No,
That's wild.
SZA did.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure... Who else was that year? Ludacris, I'm pretty sure was that year, too.
Bumper Shoot this year is going to be interesting because it's all like bands.
That's what I've seen.
There's like not really any hip hop acts. So
yeah, which is not the norm.
It
used to be the norm, and then when
so.
like they started to add hip hop acts in like 2012, 2013.
Like Capitol Hill Block Party is no offense to the people running Bumper shoot. But Capitol Hill Block Party is going to be crazy. The lineup is, yeah.
Isn't he coming back? Isn't he done?
He's done it a few times. Denzel's always in town because he's,
He fucks
whether
with
it's,
us
I don't know
or
if it's connected to Kenyatta or not, but Kenyatta and him are in Raider Clan together.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of like, he has a lot of like Seattle influence. He's here a lot.
I didn't know that.
And he has a fucking KXP performance too.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah.
He's a goat to me, like new age goat.
He's fucking sick.
He's hella sick.
So when people think of Oranj Goodman, though, do they think like how often you get like Better Call Saul like references, like all the time?
I think you're the first.
What?
Yeah.
I swear. I thought you were like a Orange Juice fan and like Better Call Saul fan, and then you were like Oranj Goodman.
Well, like Oranj Goodman is like it's my name, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's like you don't know who I am.
That's crazy.
I feel like you don't really get to know, like, when you see the name, it's like, oh, who is this person? Until you, like, follow me, and you're like, oh, shit, like, this is who this individual is. This is why this is his name. Like, it's like my real last name. Like,
damn.
My name's Christian. My name's not Orange. But, like, if you see me, I usually got some orange on. I usually, like, I'm a good guy. Like,
hey, there we go.
I'm chilling. Like,
fuck yeah.
You know?
That's so. Have you seen Better Call Saul though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Breaking Bad is like one of my favorites.
Fuck yeah.
I fucking like. He's so funny. He's so funny too.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You're the first, but I've always thought like someone's gonna say like Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
But you're the first to ever say it.
So when did you become Oranj Goodman? Like how old were you?
2017, 2018.
Okay.
Because I like went by a different name.
Mm. I
used to go by Jamesy Boy. I
Jamesy
have like full works under that name.
Okay.
And like that was like my like high school nickname.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't like a name that I got to choose. It was like the name that people gave to me that was like, oh, what's up, Jamesy Boy? Like that was just the name that someone started calling me one day, and that's just what I went with.
And you grew up in Olympia, or?
Well, I grew up all over, bro.
Okay.
So like like I said in my last interview, like I'm one of those Washington kids that's like I've lived in every part of Washington. Like I've gone to school, like I bebopped. My parents bebopped. I was in foster system too. So like I've lived everywhere.
Damn.
Yeah, but I mostly have lived in like Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and then like I graduated high school in Shelton, Washington, if you know where it is.
Is that
That's
very
a little
south?
That's south of Olympia.
Okay.
A little south. That's like 15-20 minutes out of Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where my grandparents live. So.
And where do you like? What city do you like the most?
I mean, Seattle is like my home.
Mm.
That's where like, I'm from West Seattle. Like my family's from West Seattle. I was born in White Center. Like,
oh wow.
I'm like from Seattle, but like. When I go to Christmas and stuff, it's still in, West Seattle. It's still in the city. It's not like my family still lives here, but I live in Olympia. Like, I wouldn't say like there's a favorite city that I have in Washington. I feel like all of them hold places in my heart. I love Tacoma too. Like Tacoma's like my second home. That's where my studio is.
Nice.
That's where I've always made music. So like, I have love for all the cities out here.
Hell yeah. West Seattle's pretty dope though too.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Have you been following the West Seattle Bridge shit though at all?
Oh my God. That's a joke.
For people who don't know, West Seattle Bridge is like the bridge from Seattle to West Seattle. Otherwise, you have to go around it's like a 20-minute roundabout through White Center.
Yeah.
During the pandemic.
Which is hot, by the way.
Yeah. The bridge started to fall apart during the pandemic, and Seattle was given a choice to whether, from my understanding, to either put like a Band-Aid on it, which would fix it for 10 years, or demolish it and rebuild it. And they chose the Band-Aid route, and literally like a month ago or so, a huge chunk of the bridge fell into the water.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. So I'm guessing it's closed again. I don't know if it's reopened.
No, I think it's still open.
Oh wow.
Isn't the bridge still open?
I have no idea.
I mean, like I'm pretty sure. I don't think. I
hope no one got injured.
It was like a very small piece too. It wasn't like big.
Oh, I thought it was like a 10-foot gap or something.
I mean, it could have been big. I don't think it was like.
Oh.
But I mean, like it's a huge bridge, bro. Like it's like ginormous.
It's like a fucking pothole. You don't want a pothole on a bridge either way though.
Either way though.
Damn.
But it's like that bridge is like. I feel like they just need to rebuild it, bro.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It would take a while though. Look
and
at how long
looks old. Like when you drive on it, like.
Yeah.
Every.
Yeah.
Couple seconds, it's an old bridge. Then you just need to. Put the money into, get the Climate Pledge Arena money and put that in the West Seattle Bridge. Come on.
Yeah, just have like one of the billionaires here like get it named after them, and then they'll they'll fix it. Right?
Name it something else.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, West Seattle's like I have Husky's Deli. I'm guessing you've been there, right? Husky's is awesome. Fucking Easy Street Records.
Easy Street Records. That's like I just had my album release party there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're dope. Good people too.
That's dope.
Family owned.
So how if for artists who haven't done that, like how did you go about building like a relationship like that?
With that, like with them specifically,
Yeah.
I'm a little different. Like I called them on the phone.
Oh wow.
Like I called up their front office and I was just like, hey, like I'm a local artist. Like I'm looking to like do an album release soon. I also was like getting an album pressed on vinyl, so I feel like that was like kind of the easiest route for me. I was like, oh, like might as well hit this record shop up. They seem pretty like reasonable. They seem like they'd be easy to work with. So yeah, and shout out Sophia. She was just like, sure, like
Fuck yeah.
let's go through it. Like, and she hooked it up. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so for people who haven't checked out that album, what's that album called?
13th and Paradise.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that came out this year, right?
February 13th.
There we go.
There's like, it also has 13 songs.
Okay.
So there's like correlation with the number 13.
And you're into like, are you into like synchronization and all that?
For sure.
Hell
and
yeah.
like coordination, color coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you notice like the album art, like everything's green.
Mm-hmm.
The couch, my clothes, the decor.
So is green like your second favorite color, or is it because it goes with orange so well?
I feel like they asked me that as well. Like I think all colors other than orange go well with orange.
Yeah.
And I think as I go throughout like my albums, I will hope that like each era of my albums kind of have a different color code. You know what I'm saying? Like I could do like white and orange, and then like green and orange is my first, but then like purple and orange is also like
it's true.
A good color combo. Like I'm hoping that like, you know, that's a part of my aesthetic is like trying to incorporate other colors, because I feel like a lot of artists who use orange in their name or like as an aesthetic, it's like just orange, and that's like limiting.
Right.
You know, it's like navel orange too. It's not like I like deep orange and like bright orange. Like orange is like, you know, has more variety. So I feel like overall, the color coordination is, you know.
I never thought about that. That's a good point. Like there almost, so many colors go with orange.
Yeah, well, and it's like used in a lot of like, you know, like Popeyes, like 76, like there's so many like companies that use it in marketing. Like it's a very like strong color.
Fuck yeah.
And I like what it represents too. Like if you like look up like what orange represents, it represents like happiness, joy, like spirituality. Like it's a dope color.
Hell yeah. So when I listen to your music, I hear a lot of like guitar in it.
Yeah.
Are you a guitar artist yourself? Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar my whole life.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What got you into it? Just like family?
Well, my mom played guitar growing up, and I think like I was probably like 6 or 7, and I started like playing my mom's guitar, and she's like, "Well, like now you're better than me." Once I was like probably like 9 or 10, like my mom's not very great, but I like really just dove into it, and I just, you know, tried to play as hard as I can every day, and that was like my first love, really.
Wow.
Like that's my instrument. I play my guitar every day.
Damn. Do you play any other instruments too, or solo guitar? Ooh.
Like I in school, I was like blessed to have a really dope music teacher, and he would let me play multiple instruments because he like noticed my aptitude for music, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have you play the bass," but he never let me play the guitar because he knew I played the guitar at home. So he'd always have me play something else. So I'd play the bass, or I played the drums, or like the saxophone was like the one that I always played like predominantly through school, like just a woodwind instrument, you know. But I play a lot of instruments like ukulele, like piano, you know. That's awesome. I get down on a few, but I mean, like, I'm not a trumpet player. I don't play the trombone. Like, there's a handful that I don't play.
So do you produce also, or?
Yeah, I would say like I'm not a producer. I'm more of a composer. Because like if I'm a make a song, it's gonna be like guitar, bass, drums, and then like keys. And at that point, like I'm producing the song, but the producer is the one who's gonna kind of like be in the room helping me put the pieces together. But I'm really composing the record. Like I'm, you know, choosing where the chords go, where you know where the bridge goes, things like that. So
if you know how to play instruments and you got an amazing voice, what comes first for you usually? Like, are you like testing things with your instruments, or do you write first? Or?
I think like my writing style, I'm also like a rapper. Like that's like what I started as. I started as a rapper, like, and then I like segued into being a musician. Versus like the opposite, where I feel like some musicians are like dabbling in rap, you know, like Frank Ocean, or like, you know, like I don't know, certain artists.
Post Malone.
Post Malone, yeah, like certain artists that kind of like segue into hip hop. Like I like initially was a rapper, so I think that like me incorporating like guitar and like stuff, like my process always resorts back to like freestyling. Like put a beat on and I'm gonna freestyle.
And we got you later on that.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean that's like my process. Like that's the beginning of my process, and then it's like that's how I come up with the melody, or like vice versa, or like I'm playing the guitar. I kind of like puzzle piece it, where I'll get my lyrics and my melodies from freestyling and coming up with, listening to beats or listening to whatever, and then my guitar pieces are like, that's where I get my production, my composition, and I'll kind of like piece them together, like, oh, like what guitar piece am I working on that sounds good with the freestyle that I was working on, and kind of like go from there. I would say like, but always the vocal and the lyrics, and I feel like they kind of come at the same time. I've been like dissecting my process a little more to be able to explain it to people, but I would say like when I'm in the creative process, it's like singing and the lyrics, like they kind of come at the same time, and then it's like, where do I go from there? Am I gonna add guitar to it? And like recently, like my music I'm working on more recently, like is like over beats. It's like I have like
Fuchsia.
I have a dope producer like lace a beat, and then but I wrote that on the guitar.
Damn, that's a big song though, because you have like some big artists on there. Right?
Well, I have Big All Star from Seattle. I got Friday on. Well, he was on the beat. He sampled. So it's Friday and Big All Star and myself.
That's awesome. So at this point, like, are you just reaching out to artists, or like, because a lot of your stuff I feel like is solo also, right?
Well, I met Friday. Like I met Friday in real life. Like I know him. Like I've met him.
That's awesome.
A couple times. All Star. The way I met All Star is dope. Like I was introduced to All Star recently, like in the last couple months. And they were like, oh, he's from Texas, but he lives out here now. Like you should do a session with him, and like his energy is just dope. Like he's a cool dude. He's a barber too. Like he lined me up when I pull up. Like he's cool. Like he's good people.
That's cool, because like I do notice, like even for me when I like living in Snohomish for a bit, I feel like there's like a fire that gets put under like either entrepreneurs or like artists who are realize there's like a mecca for a city like Seattle. So you have to like drive there and like spend your time accordingly and get things done versus like I wouldn't say like Seattle artists get complacent, but there's just a different fire under you when you realize you have to make that effort to get to a city. So I feel like I see that fire in you, and like when you told me that you spent like your time in Olympia, I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I also like I have studios in Olympia. Like I work from home. The reason why I live south is like I'm not trying to spend $2,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment, bro. Like I'm over it. Like and that's where I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna play my cards smoothly and try to live in a place that's like more financially responsible. Like I also have a house. Like I rent a house. Like I live downtown. Like I got a crib. Like I'm not trying to like spend too much money on an apartment. I want to be able to like be comfortable and also like Seattle's busy as hell. Like,
it is.
But it's like you said, it's like a mecca for people to come and like make music, make art, and it's also like for a lot of other art forms, it's like a place where like, oh, if I'm gonna go to Seattle and I have to like get this opportunity and I have to come up here, I'm gonna travel an hour and a half. Like I know people who drive to work to Seattle from Shelton, Washington, which is like an hour and 20 minutes every day, bro.
Damn.
But it's the opportunity. It's like you're gonna come here for the opportunity to make sure that you're taking care of your shit.
That's wild. So like, are you more of like a kind of a solo guy though, or like, and is that like, just where's that come from? Do you think?
If you want something done correctly, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like I was tired of having other people do my stuff for me and like advocating for me incorrectly. And I mean, and even my music, like I write my songs myself. I'm composing the songs myself. A lot of the producers that I'm working with, their beats are their beats, but when I'm making music and it's really just me, it's all just me. And I think that's like kind of just one of my strongest personality traits of being independent.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like book everything myself. I'm a one-man person. Like I'm a solo artist as well. But I mean, like recently I've been in loving the art of like collaboration.
That's awesome.
And like meeting new people and working with people and like actually being collaborative versus like being as solo as I am. So I'm recently trying to be a little more,
hell yeah,
easy to work with.
So like when you were solely a rapper, some people like get their start like in a hip hop group or anything. Were you ever in a hip hop group?
No. I feel like Olympia hip hop scene was different though when we were younger. Like it was like there was some OGs that would like come through that were from the Bay, or like we'd have Afro Man come through. We'd have like people come do shows like in Olympia, like was like kind of a spot. So like when I first started making music, I would open up for people like that. Like I've opened up for like Afro Man. I've opened up for like Slug Christ. I don't know if you know who that is. He's crazy.
Hell yeah.
I've opened up for Larry June. Like,
awesome.
Like
you just performed with the Neptune. That shit looked crazy.
That shit did look crazy. But I think like it's instead of like kind of like a rap group, I was just a part of that scene,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's the underground hip hop scene.
Got it. And where did that like musicality come from? Where like it switches more into like singing and because I don't even
Yeah.
think it's called R&B. I don't even. You're just
I try to call R&B, but
okay.
it's like soul, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like I have a hard time like describing my genre to people who don't know my music. But I would say I had a producer who I worked with when I was younger, and he found out that I played the guitar on a couple songs just because I like would play the guitar just like
Mm.
as an addition. And he was like, "Dude, you play the guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I wasn't like really good. Like I was like pretty good. I wasn't like crazy. I was just kind of like not confident enough to play on a record and like actually produce my own guitar sounds. But he was like, "No, bro, you need to like come in here." Like he had a bass, he had a guitar. He's like, "You need to really play on every record."
Mm.
And I made an EP where I play like the whole
Dang.
time. I'm playing the keys, I'm playing the drums, I'm playing the piano, or I'm playing the guitar or whatever instrument is, you know,
Damn.
you're listening to. But I think that like him pushing me into that realm really boosted my self-esteem and like being a musician, because I was always nervous to play with other musicians too. Like I'm not confident enough to play with these people. They're really good, they read music, like
Mhm.
they're filthy. Like I'm like pretty good, you know, but like really locking in and being confident is what I feel like helped me become a little more better as a musician.
For sure, and you'll make different connections and like different sounds will come out too.
Yeah,
You know?
and like there's a emotion that you release and you feel when you're playing with other musicians,
Yeah.
like that you can't compare to like being in a studio and playing something and sending it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're like in the room playing with 3 other people and there's chemistry, it's like shit's gonna sound different.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. That's very true. That's cool. I mean, I'd love to see like you do more like collaboration with the Seattle artists. You know, that'd be cool to see.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Like I have a feature with Dave B.
Oh wow, really? That's dope, man.
Yeah. That one's been out for a while.
Oh no, I have heard that. What am I
So I
talking
have
about?
a feature with
Yeah.
Dave B. I have a feature with All Star.
Mhm.
Man, I've been trying to lock something in with Travis.
Yeah.
He's bro, so like it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's I mean, there's no limits with Seattle too. Like I feel like if you hit somebody correct, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like the Seattle rappers are cool like that.
Yeah. And your music's pretty undeniable. So like if someone just
thank
has to
you,
listen
bro.
to like one song, they're like, fuck yeah, let's get in a studio
Well,
together,
and like
you know?
I feel like a lot of these rappers are like, I've worked with people like in New York and LA, and they're complicated, bro. Like they're hard. They're like they're doing you a favor. You know what I'm saying? Versus like I've noticed that these people who are from here, we have like that community and respect for other artists, and they're like, yeah, bro, I'll hop on your stuff and I'll like bless it. Like I'll do a good job.
Yeah.
They're not just like doing the minimal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like shout out Dave, shout out All Star. Like they really are doing their thing, and I appreciate that. When I've like been in rooms with people who are like high end, and it's like they're doing me a favor, and it's like they do the minimal.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And do you have like any management or anything at all? Or
I
are you
used
solely...
to, but I've been managing myself for like the last year, bro.
Yeah.
I've been like, I was in sales and like had my 9 to 5 was dealing with customer service and dealing with people, and I feel like I just correlated those skills into like my career and being my own management, and like also, like I said earlier, having other people advocate for me. Like I felt like they didn't represent my business the best.
Got it.
And I have a lot of like, shout out Greaves. He's somebody who he really inspired me to manage myself. He was like, you don't need some dude from New York to answer your emails. Like just do it yourself. Like be your own entrepreneur. And I think that like that's what really sparked that. So no, I don't have management, and I haven't for a little while. But I mean, thugging it out.
Yeah. How'd you get the recognition from like Noisy and Vice?
So when I did have management, like that's kind of like what I've learned is like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do stuff like that now. But I mean, PR, paying for PR, that's like what does that. And having a management who knows people, it's all connections. Like at a certain level, like you realize it's like who knows the people who are writing these articles, who work for Vice, you know. But management helps with that a lot, because the norm is for somebody's management to approach you and not the artist. So I feel like sometimes I lose out on some opportunities being the artist reaching out for myself. But I think that management opportunities like Vice or even like Lyrical Lemonade, stuff like that, when I had management, are amazing. And I'm working on trying to get those things myself. But it's a little bit harder process.
And then, did you come up with like your whole aesthetic on your own?
Yeah,
Or like, 'cause,
absolutely,
like,
absolutely. That's been
everything.
me.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, and my shawty. Like
Okay, there we
I
go.
can't
There we
take all the
go.
credit. Well, she's designer, like into like fashion and shit. Like she's really like, wear this, like, oh, that's too loud, bro. Like like you know, like
Yeah.
so, and like if you look at like, let me show you, like my IG feed is like coordinated. Like all my releases are in the middle.
Yeah.
That's all her. Like she's
Yeah.
like, you need to do it like this. So I have help.
Yeah.
But
It looks good. Like that all looks
bro.
good. That's
Yeah.
that's super professional.
She takes a lot of she took my album art.
Hell
She's
yeah.
a photographer too. She gets down. She helps me with that shit.
And you like oranges? Like, do you like the taste
Yeah.
of oranges?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
What?
What if you didn't? I'd be
Orange
like, oh
juice
shit.
is my favorite, bro. I love oranges,
yeah.
orange juice.
That's
But I
amazing.
feel like it's like the fruit. I love everything.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's kind of what my name also represents, because it's
Mhm.
like Oranj Goodman, but not, my aesthetic isn't just oranges and just
Right.
orange. Like I'm trying to do I feel like I love everything.
Hell yeah. Like, so what is the bigger picture for you? Like, what would you like to like accomplish in the next few years?
I mean, my goal is to just be myself. Like I'm just wanting to grow in my career, and like, you know, I want to bump shoulders with some of the legends. Like I see myself winning Grammys and like being one of those people from Seattle that people respect, and they're like, oh shit, like he's from here, like put me on their back, you know, like. But I mean, I don't have expectations. Like I feel like I'm happy just to be myself and to be from here and like
Yeah.
do what I do. Like, and I think like within the last year, like my career's really started. Like 2020, I started dropping music as Oranj
Yeah.
Goodman, but like in the last calendar year, like where I'm like, I'm not working a full-time job anymore. Like I'm
Heck yeah.
doing headlining shows. Like I'm flying to places and meeting people, and like my career is like actually starting to grow, and I'm just happy with that, bro. Like
Hell yeah.
when like my family asked me like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, I made it already. To
Mhm.
me, like
yeah, for sure.
my
man.
14-year-old self will be happy. Like
I see the same thing.
yeah,
I see
like
the
I
exact
already
same
did it.
thing.
Like, you know,
Yeah, I just wanted to, when I was younger, I just wanted to be friends with like artists and stuff.
same. Like
So,
I just wanted to be a musician. I didn't want clout. I didn't want money.
Mhm.
Like I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, if I make enough money to provide a life, like that's all I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And I make cool art, like that's it. I made it.
So what were like the steps you took to like start seeing this like upwards trajectory and like be able to like do shows and all that?
Hard work, man. Like it's like working when no one's around. Like when you're by yourself and you have the option to like chill and watch a movie or like do whatever, like taking that time to really, oh my bad,
No worries.
taking that time to really focus on your craft, like hard work, like
Mhm.
when no one's watching, like when the doors are closed and when you're by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
that's and like for me, it's like even when I had a job and I'm working on the clock, I'm at work, I'm still writing records.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like thinking about it all the time. If you have that mindset, if you
Heck
have
yeah.
that mindset of like, I'm going to do this all day, every day, like there's no way you're not going to make it, you know?
What's like your favorite experience or interaction you've had with like a local artist or an artist when you've been like out of town?
Like elaborate, like you mean in like,
Whether it's like just bumping into someone or actually like working with someone in the studio.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I would say like my favorite interaction was my interaction with Dave B.
Mhm.
Like I've been like fangirl for that fool like since I was in high school. Like he dropped his debut project when I was like a junior in high school,
Mhm.
and it was just like, damn, like I'm gonna do this someday. Like he's filthy. And like when I finally got to meet him, like I'm like in Los Angeles, like it's crazy because like this is when I decided not to have management. Like I go to LA, like I decided like I'm gonna go to LA. This is my second time there,
Mhm.
and my management just like dropped the ball, didn't book me any sessions.
Mhm.
And I'm like, bruh, like really, like I like have had this plan for months, and like the day I get here, you just ghosted me.
What the fuck?
Yes, shit like that. Like that's, but like that's where I'm like, I hit up people. I'm like, hey, like you trying to work? And he was the first person to hit me back. He's like, yeah, yeah, let's link tomorrow. I'm
Wow.
free.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay, like word. And I'm like nervous too, because this is like, but I'm like excited, and like my woman and her homegirl would drop me off, and he like lives in an apartment. Like he's like chill dude. Like we played chess, we like drank White Claws, and like like took his dog for a walk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, damn, like this is cool.
Nice.
Like, and it wasn't even like I was working at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I like kicked it with this fool. Like, went outside to smoke a cigarette. Like, I showed him the song, like, went outside to smoke a cigarette and came back and he was like done.
Wow.
And I was like, damn.
That's awesome.
And he just like quick like that. And I think that's probably like my favorite story with like a collaborative interaction.
That's cool. So being in management and not being in management, like what is some advice you have for people who management might be reaching out to them?
Well, and I'm never gonna like try to talk somebody out of having management, because that's like, if they're a good person to have on your team, like keep them. Like, but if you're the type of person who is more into taking care of business, or you feel like maybe you don't want someone else to be talking for you, don't listen to the people who are trying to reach out. You know, like at the end of the day, like these people, the management, they're not worried about you. They're worried about themselves. They have other clients. They're worried also about their other clients. I've had trips where I go to LA, my management tells me it's just me and him, and I find out that there's 2 other people that are in LA at the same time, and he's booking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
That's happened to me, and I'm like, bro, like, you clearly don't care. You don't care about the individual, and if you are experiencing that, like, manage yourself. You can learn how to do it. They're learning how to do it. They're educating themselves to manage artists.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing and educate yourself to manage yourself if that's really what you want to do. And I think that a lot of times, like, artists are kind of lazy when it comes to that, and they're like, I'm gonna let somebody do it. I'm gonna let that person, like, that's my manager's job. And then sometimes they're upset when they don't get opportunities, and they're mad at their manager. You know, when if you learn how to do it yourself and you can do it right, there's no limit.
Yeah. So do you believe like your life is in your own hands, or do you feel like?
Yeah, and I feel like opportunities. I've had people email me at 11 p.m. You know, almost midnight, and I respond right away. And if my management was managing me, they wouldn't respond to that. Right. You know, they would have missed that. And I think that, like, if you're your own boss, you're in charge, there's no limit to what you can do. You know, I think it's like, I feel like it works best for me.
Yeah. So how did you end up getting to a point where you were able to start working part-time and focus more on music? What was that like?
I think being able to change my rate for like how much I'm getting asked for at shows, like being able to like really like have a solidified resume, like my EPK, like building your resume as an artist. You know, people really pay attention to that shit. They want to know how many shows you've opened up for. They want to know the work that you've put in. And I think that, like, I still make money than just music. I still, you know, have part-time jobs that I make money on the side, but I think making money in music in general is really hard. And that was a really hard thing for me. Like, how do I actually like get revenue? How can I actually be lucrative as an artist is really hard. But like features, being collaborative, like that was another thing. Like, I can't be a solo person and like turn down when people are wanting to work with me when it's money. Yeah. You know, like I can like, okay, like let me like see what I can do. Like maybe I can play guitar for you, or maybe I can like sing backup vocals or something, you know? Like I think then that's the art of being an entrepreneur, finding where you can make money, finding how you can do things. And I think like that's probably the biggest piece for me as a business person, is like finding opportunities to make just little money here and there until it stacks up, you know?
For sure. It's like I had a artist who's like an actual painter on Aramis O'Hamer about, I think like she was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, and like she was saying it was a transition period for her. I think it took her like 3 years.
I'm in that transition period right now. So, like, no lie,
it takes time.
Is she somebody who's like now full time? And she made a crazy transition period from being like a nurse into a full time visual painter. So and you've always done radio.
Yeah, but you know, like that's the thing too, where it's like you also have to have a strong support system. So like if there has been a backward step I've taken in radio or whatever, Like I've had a family that was able to like support me, and
Yeah.
now like my transition period was figuring out a way to start like living on your own, you know.
Yeah.
So figuring that out, it definitely took time. Like I manage 2 studios,
Damn.
podcast producer at both those studios.
You're very young too, bro.
Yeah.
And you're like, you didn't go to college.
No,
So
man.
that's impressive.
Which is interesting because I do feel that eventually being a podcast producer or even a podcast studio manager is going to become a thing you need to go to school
Do you feel
for.
like you'll need to go to school in the future?
No, I think I'm probably like one of the last
Out of the curve.
types of people who won't have to.
Like,
because
what is that like not going to school? Like,
Did you
'cause
go to
I
school?
didn't go to school either.
For me, it was
Like, what is
like
that decision for you?
I thought it was going to be weird at first, but like I had like all these scholarships lined up to go to school,
Mhm.
and I got hired at the radio station, so I decided to do like I was going to go to community college, and I went for the first day for 30 minutes, met all my teachers, and was like, nope, this isn't for me.
Bro, that's so funny. Like,
Literally 30 minutes.
I
and
have
then
a
left.
similar story.
Damn.
Where like I went to like 2 days of community college, and it was like Zoom.
Yeah.
Or it was like Skype, whatever it was back then, and I was like, nah, bro, this is not for me.
Yeah.
It's like different type of learning.
It would have been different if I knew like deep down in my heart from like a small child that I wanted to be like a radio host and a podcaster, but podcasting wasn't even around then.
Yeah.
And like I didn't realize that there was school you could do to become a radio host. I just came across an opportunity and took it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a cooler story than like, oh, I went to school and then I got a job at this. It's like you have been in the industry, and that's where like I chose to not go to school too. Is like I wanted to just be in the industry rather than like work for a few years and then be in the industry, or like work on a degree and then try to get a job that way.
For sure. Like I have friends coming out of college, which is still, it's pretty normal, but like they're like still like they just got out of college and now they have to figure out how to like adult and like how to actually get a job now.
Yeah, when we've already like struggled in certain ways. But like, does it give you that kind of like FOMO when you're graduating?
I thought it was going to.
It does for me.
But
honestly.
like,
I'm like, damn, I wish I could graduate.
Because like a lot of my friends come back and they're like, ah, fuck. They're very fratty, or like, bro, where's the why are there no clubs open on Tuesday nights? You know,
where's the blow, man? Yeah. No,
and I'm like, no, thanks, man.
No, I that's definitely the biggest thing that I'm proud of for not going to college. Like I was involved in the culture. When there's some people who are like, that is their whole life. They are like frat culture. Like that's their like their whole thing, which is like kudos to you, bro. But like, I'm just.
Yeah, a lot of my friends came back and they're like all like surfer dudes now. And like
dang.
some people call me like I'm like, oh fuck. So I don't know. Bro. I thought I was gonna be like feel FOMO, but I'm like, well, my friends are back, so now I can hang out with them.
Well, like when my family who's like my age is like graduating college, I'm like, damn, like that's really cool for you. Like I wish I could do that. Well, that's the only time where I feel a little bit like, damn, like y'all are all like graduating, like my cousins and like shit, like we're graduating together, like.
I almost fell asleep.
It looks fun.
Though. I went to one of my relatives' graduation last year, and I almost fell asleep during the fucking graduation. I was like, this means nothing to me.
Well, it's
Congrats
like
to you guys.
So long to name like 900 people's names off. They're like one name after the other, and you're like waiting for one person. Yeah, it's tiring.
Like if you don't need school, then you don't go to it, because some people do go to school and get debt, or like they figure out later on the road they didn't want to go to school for whatever. So I don't know. I think it's cool that some people take gap years to figure out what they want to do. I think that's kind of a cool idea.
I think that's like probably like my favorite thing, when people like take a couple years off from high school and they're like, I want to live life for a little bit and then go to school. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I thought I was gonna do. Like, but then once I just started being an entrepreneur and like making music, I was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
And was there like a mental switch when you wanted to become like focused fully on art and entrepreneurship? Or
I think that's when I like decided to be Oranj Goodman, because I was like just a rapper who's like trying to like have fun versus like being career oriented. Like that's like my whole branding. I feel like my rebranding was like, okay, I'm professional now. Like I have a legitimate name. Like I've never released anything on like SoundCloud or anything like that. It was like, okay, this is it. And I think that's probably like the step into like seriousness for me.
Well, I could see you working with Blake Anthony. You know Blake Anthony?
Yeah.
I could see you guys doing a song together.
I feel like that would be fire.
Yeah, or Milk. Do you know Milk yet?
You
should check out my podcast.
I feel like Milk.
He's from Portland, but he comes to Seattle.
I feel like that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely when I'm a fan of someone, I could be like, I could see you working with this person.
So what are some of the first songs that you heard of mine?
I've definitely listened to the entire album. Obviously, like the top, like I use YouTube Music, so like.
Oh, you use YouTube Music.
Yeah, I do Spotify too, but like obviously it's gonna change a little bit on which is the top song for what, but like definitely The Hill is like my favorite song overall, and that's when I got that like Frank Ocean vibe from you.
I love that one.
Yeah, Vienna's cool, but I definitely like out of your entire catalog, I like really.
Yeah, I hate that song.
Why?
That was like that's my first song.
That ain't magic, man.
That's my first song.
Really?
Yeah, it's like even when I wrote it, it wasn't like I didn't ever expect it to be the song that like popped off, and it's like. Even when it's what I'm talking about, I'm like, dang, I'm so 19 in that song. Like, I'm like 20 years old. Like,
damn,
you know, like, let's get nasty, baby. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I can't play it around my family and shit. Like, when they're like, oh, this is his most famous song. It has 1 million. And I'm like, please don't fucking play that in front of people.
Have you got any like sync licensing yet?
Not yet. Like,
those,
I've like
half your songs are like.
Almost. And I feel like that's like recently, that's what I'm really trying to do. Like, I'm trying to get like, my shit to be on like Hulu or like Netflix
like
or something.
Atlanta, you give me like Atlanta vibes.
That would be so lit.
Yeah.
Fucking Childish Gambino, what's up?
Yeah. So does The Hill have anything to do with Capitol Hill?
The Hill has to do with like Hilltop, Tacoma.
Okay.
Like Beacon Hill, Seattle. Like I've always lived on a hill. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a Washington thing. Yeah. Like a lot of people live on hills because it's hella like
First Hill. There's whatever.
Queen Anne Hill. Yeah. You know, like there's just Capitol Hill. There's hella hills in here. So like I even say like I'm going back to the hill. Mm-hmm. Like I live on a hill in Olympia.
Okay.
Like you know, like I think it's just like a representation of like I'm coming back home because you go other places they're flat as hell. Yeah. Like everywhere is flat. New York, Florida. Yeah. Cali, like they're all flat. So I think that like that song's a big token of like, oh, I'm coming back home. Mm-hmm. And like I wrote that song like in kind of a rough time. Like I'm kind of like sad, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like fighting with my girl. Like I'm like, you know, like I said, she's going crazy on me. Like I'm like also struggling with my own feelings. Like, 'cause I like talk about like contemplating jumping off the ledge. Like I'm like really
only my creator knows.
I'm like I'm really not feeling good, bro. Yeah. And I think that like when I come back home, like when I go and travel other places, like I get that kind of like sense of like, damn, I need to go home. Like I need to go home and like get my shit together.
That's definitely like my favorite song from your
Thank you, bro.
entire catalog.
And that's what that at every hill here. Like I think of it like when I come back home, and whether it was like I'm coming back to Seattle or I'm coming back to Tacoma or I'm coming back to Olympia, it's like just I get the constant reminder that I'm home because I got this house on a hill, you know, like my studio's on the hilltop, like, you know. Yeah. And the video is at what is that? Gasworks with that on that hill right there.
Yeah. I think it's Gasworks.
In the Space Needle in the background. So it's like kind of just like a token of like I'm coming home to my place, you know.
That's fucking sick. Yeah, I love that. That's my go-to song that I show people.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. Thank you.
It's probably gonna be on my because YouTube Music's really similar to Spotify Wrapped.
I haven't used YouTube Music very much.
It's better than Spotify in my opinion because
I've heard that's coming up.
Yeah, it's kind of like SoundCloud mixed with Spotify. So you get all the remix songs that aren't official, then you get the regular songs,
and you get all the old songs that aren't on Apple Music and Spotify, right? Yeah. Like the old Aaliyah cuts and the Jay-Z cuts and the shit that people don't.
And music videos. You know, you can use YouTube Music to watch music videos.
It plays a music video while you're... Yeah. Damn, I need to get on that shit.
And it's my go-to thing for sure. But, dude, we should make a lyric... Do you want to make a lyric video for your...
Oh, I'm always game to do whatever.
We have time.
And I'm an open book too. I'm down to do whatever.
We should actually make one after this.
How much longer do you think we have here?
What time is it?
It's 12:52.
Oh shit. We got to do your freestyle. We're gonna do the freestyle.
I forgot we were gonna freestyle.
Here's my
fuck.
Okay, my final question for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm dying to know, are you mixed? Because I feel like
Yes. Thank you for asking. Yes. I'm white and Native American.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know if you're like.
Do I look mixed?
Yeah, I didn't know if you're like.
Thank you for saying that.
White. I don't know if you're white and black or what. I was
I'm white. Well, my mom's mixed. So my mom's white and Native American, and my dad's white. So I'm like,
I'm dead.
I'm mixed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I could tell you were mixed with something, but I was like,
Thank you for asking. On air too. Now we have real footage. Yeah, that is
amazing.
funny,
That is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you mixed?
Yeah.
What are you mixed with, bro?
I'm black and Italian.
Okay, so
Yeah.
which parent?
My dad's black, my mom's Italian.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
Word. That's what's up.
Very nice.
Very nice. Mixed people represent.
Yes, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, what is some final advice you have for up and coming artists, creators,
Yeah.
influencers?
Be yourself. Work hard. Like I said earlier, work hard when no one's watching. That's the only time it matters.
Hell yeah. And what is the easiest way for people to reach you?
Instagram, Spotify.
There we go. At Orange, and it's just Orange Goodman on Instagram.
Orange Goodman,
right?
everything.
Hell yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music.
There we go. This has been the NAST podcast with,
Orange Goodman.
and we did it.